What's up, world? It's your boy Tommy Mav, and I just came in to talk about the whole situation and one of the difficulties surrounding media in general. So it's gonna hinge on a couple things, but mostly I just want to talk about how difficult it is right now watching the Lakers play. If you watch the Lakers play, Luka is, to me, everything that I hate about the way certain people get rewarded in basketball. I think Luka is an amazing player, but I am so tired of seeing him make bad basketball moves. He makes bad basketball plays over and over and over. This guy will go into the middle. I don't know why he does the same thing that they used to destroy Russell Westbrook for. He's constantly getting caught with no exit strategy. He's constantly dribbling into double and triple team, trying to hold the ball even he should get rid of it. He does this so consistently that it's almost like a thing of like trying to figure out why. Like does he understand? Like LeBron got to be pulling his hair out at this point. I mean, Luka is, to me, it's like he helps, but he hurts, and it's like you don't. At times, it's the same thing to me is with him as with Russell Westbrook. The triple doubles, the assists, but a lot of them are inflated by his usage rate. And when you watch Luka, it's like, oh my gosh, everybody else is playing a team game and he's playing by himself, and he is causing problems because they can't sustain leads because he just starts playing hero ball. And when you are doing that, that's fine. You know what I mean? I can understand, but go full blast, but you got to make the right basketball play. And the right basketball play is not to have 3 or 4 people wide open and you taking on 3 people. That's ridiculous. And you can tell the Timberwolves have realized all they got to do is swarm him. He will not give up the ball. He will try to force it up, and then you end up with a bad situation going back the other way. They came back 90% of the time. Their runs were based off of Luka making bad decisions. And back to play, just like back to back plays, right after each other. Just come down, make a dumb decision. Come down, make a stupider decision. Come down, make a dumb decision. Come down, make a stupider decision. Before you know it, the lead goes from 13 to 7, and then from 7 to 2. Because he's just making bad decisions, holding the ball too long, not getting rid of it. They are clearly a better team than the Timberwolves. The problem is that Luka does not know when to just stop, when to just get the ball up. You have 2 other guys that can play. You got 3 other guys that can play. You got 4 other guys. You don't need to play hero ball. When you got another guy on the other side that's capable. To me, I think Luka is killing them. We didn't even talk about on the defensive side where he's just isolated and destroyed over and over and over and over again. So you have to ask yourself a question. If you know they're going to be attacking you on the defensive side, you know you got to get better defensively. I'm trying to figure out how in the name of like how do you not say, okay, I know I'm going to have to put more effort in on defense. Let me try to lighten the load on offense. Let LeBron and Austin run the show a little more. No, it's like just constant. Let's go. It's like, Luka, do you understand they're trapping you? Get rid of the ball when it's possible. Get rid of the ball early. And then you don't got to worry about it. You can always get it back later. But he doesn't do that. He wants to hold the ball. He doesn't give it up. And he was making dumb decision after dumb decision after dumb decision. He was, because the first thing people pay attention to is the fact that he got this many points. But nobody pays attention to the fact that he got how many points he gave up and how many turnovers that led to points that he gave up. So defensively, in general, he's just gonna give up points because he's not a good defender. He definitely gives effort, but he's not good. And so they just exploit him constantly. Whoever has the ball, that's who they get. They seek him out on defense and they attack him. He doesn't. He gives effort on the perimeter. He wants to stay under the rim to get rebounds, but at the same time, he does not step. He doesn't put his body in the way. He just sticks his arm out and constantly just gives people easy buckets. Jaden McDaniel, he knows how to just get past him because he knows Luka is never gonna meet him at the rim. He's just gonna put his hand up. He just go around and lay it up. They were giving way too many uncontested shots because they have no big man. You can't keep Jackson Hayes in. And Luka's just giving people expressways, like his feet are nailed to the floor. They're just getting expressways straight to the basket, straight to the basket, straight to the basket. It's becoming extremely. It's hard to watch. It's just very, very, very bad basketball. I mean, some of the worst basketball I've seen since Russell Westbrook was messing up. I mean, just terrible basketball. And I don't understand how he gets this idea as being this prodigy and Russell Westbrook is called an idiot, and they kind of do the same thing. I don't understand it. I mean, maybe somebody can let me, fill me in on that because I'm kind of confused. In other news, Shadeur Sanders kind of got screwed. I don't know if he got screwed royally, but I know he got screwed in the sense that he should have been drafted higher than what he was. I don't like the narrative that it's based on race because that's dumb. Cam Newton was extremely cocky. He got drafted number 1 overall. It's the difference between being cocky and being arrogant, right? Cocky is self-assured. Arrogant is dismissive of others, disrespectful to others. There's a difference, right? While I think that the fact that he's black might have had some sort of thing, I can't gauge how much of an effect that had on the whole on it, because I don't really think that was a huge factor, because there's been plenty of really, really cocky African Americans that have been picked high in the draft. And I think it's not about the fact that Shadeur Sanders was quote unquote cocky or confident. No, he was arrogant, and he tried the things he said. He tried to act like he was Deion. You're not Deion. Okay, Deion could do that. Deion could walk around with that air of confidence and walk into things and say stuff like, you ain't even gonna be on the board. He said he walked in the interview rooms and and sat down in front of him, they was like, "What's your let's interview?" And he was like, "What pick are y'all?" And they'd be like, "We this pick." He'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be going well before y'all get there." So he said that's how he acted in his interview, and I think that's a bad thing to pass on to his son, because you had that type of talent. Your son doesn't. He's great. He's a great pocket passer, but he's not that mobile. He tends to hold the ball extremely long. He has flaws. I'm saying he shouldn't have nowhere near been drafted in the 5th round. But if you're sitting up there and you're being cocky and you're talking real, you're talking heavy as if you the second coming, people gonna look at you like, okay. It's one thing for them to say, "What do you think? What are words that you have to say?" And you say, "Well, if you don't draft me, I think you make a mistake. I think I'm the best person for the job." It's another thing entirely to just, as they say, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm gonna be honest. Shadeur rubbed me the wrong way throughout the entire season. I wanted to root for them, the Colorado, all year. I constantly wanted to root for them all year, but it was just a thing where I was just like, he just rubs me the wrong way. Like, he just comes off as an as an asshole. And the whole situation with Cam Newton, the situation with the guy from the quarterback from that one team, he has a way of being extremely rude to people and talking extremely rude to people. And so when you act that way and you act as if other people are beneath you, you act like other people are not on your level. Some people can deal with that. But some people do not like it, and they're going to try to put you in your place. And it's not because you're black, it's because you're arrogant. Now, him slipping through the fifth round, is that closer to why he might have been a racial thing? Yeah. Because I think if you white, you always going to have somebody who's willing to look past your flaws. Because they see themselves in you. When you're black, you're less likely to have somebody who's gonna throw you a life preserver. Because they don't see you as the same as them. They see you as an other. And so I think Shadeur Sanders should have went into the draft process understanding he's a black quarterback. He's not going to get the same leeway that these white boys are going to get because they're going to look at you completely different and they're not going to give you the same passes that they give them. We already know. You can look at the statistic. There is a stigma when you're black, when you act a certain way, where they look at it and they'll say it's arrogance, it's disobedience, it's rebellion when you're black. When it's white, it's assertiveness. It is seen as assertive. It's seen as a good trait, a trait of a leader. Take no nonsense, take actions, take charge type of guy. They're two different things. But you got to know that going in and know that they're not going to see you as somebody who's supremely confident. They're going to see you as somebody who's supremely arrogant. If you're walking around with the chains on, and that's 100% your prerogative. Nobody can tell you you can't wear that. But if you wear that, understand there's going to be people going to look at you and they're going to see flashy. I think they always look at people as flashy. When they look at black people as flashy, and when black people are flashy, white people get uncomfortable. They get insecure. They start asking themselves why their kid doesn't have that, and why their kid can't do this, and why their kid can't do it. And then they run into the arrogant and the spoiled and the Like I said, anytime somebody said they can't understand the mindset of racist people, I always tell them, not white people, racist people, because there's a distinction in the two. Because not only white people are racist, but I'm saying racist people, they're generally racist because they want to feel like they're better than somebody else. And they love to see somebody who thinks they're better than them be shown that they're not. And when black people start saying it's based on race, that actually feeds into, it actually makes them happier, right? Because it's an assertion that they're still better than you based on their race, right? If you're a person who is a white trash, you're dumb. You've never been anything outside of a person that's just there. Like you've never been good at school. You never overachieved at anything, and then you go out and the world says you're here. You want to know other people are lower, and you know you can't compare yourself to other white people because other white people are just better than you, and they're white. So now what do you have left? The black people. So you have to believe you're better than them. So whenever, I can't remember if it was Taft or who, I can't remember. One of the presidents said, you win when you make the lowest white person believe that they're better than the highest black person. And that's what you do. You got the guy that called Shadeur Sanders, and they were loving it. Because at that point it was a realization that they have certain privileges because they're white. Now, is that true or not? Who knows? But they believe it. And black people don't understand. When you start speaking truth to that, you make them. You're not shaming them. They want that to be the case. They want that to be true. So when you start saying that some people are doing this because they're black, that you're doing nothing but making them clap like Circus Hill. They want that realization to be true. And they're going to do everything in their power to protect the system. So they're going to say race had nothing to do with it. They're going to say it was just completely off analysis of tape. I heard Trey Wingo say that. It's like, oh, come on, bro. You don't have to say it's racial, but to sit up there and say that Shadeur Sanders checked out as a 5th round draft pick based purely off his off the tape is some crazy mental gymnastics. Okay, just admit that the guy was probably screwed over. I don't even know if it was screwed over, but I would say he was arrogant. He probably went in there extremely arrogant, talking extremely crazy, and acting he's Dion, and rubbed people the wrong way, thinking that they were going to treat him like they did his dad. They're not going to treat you like they did Dion. Dion was a specimen. You were not. You're just a good player. You're a run-of-the-mill, talented player with a high ceiling or a low ceiling. They're taking a risk drafting you because you might not be good because you're not that mobile. So if they don't have the right pieces around you, they can't count on you to do what a Cam Ward can do. Cam Ward can make time with his feet. He can move around. He does all things you do, and he can run. Jackson Dart, the same thing. He can't do all the things you can do as a passer, but he definitely can do more than you as a runner. So if you're the Giants and you know you have a terrible, porous offensive line, and you know that Daniel Jones did pretty good because he was able to run, even though he's not a good player, he was able to mask that by playing behind that, by having the ability to be mobile. So maybe they look at Jackson Dart and they see somebody that could be what Daniel Jones was for him. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, I don't think that's true because I don't think Gators played Jackson Dart a couple of times since he's been in college, and he's never impressed me. He's always been a mediocre quarterback for me. So them drafting him 25, I think, was instead of people looking at it as they drafted him because they were racist. I don't think that's true. You should look at it more like they were willing to draft a guy they knew they weren't high on because of something that happened between here and the draft. I mean, from the last game, Shadeur's last game and the draft. There was something that happened. So I don't know what happened, but it's black coaches, white coaches, black GMs, white GMs. Somebody didn't like what he was doing. And they were, and I don't think their idea was, we're going to humble this guy. I think their idea was, okay, you don't need us, we don't need you. And so at the end of the day, I can't fault a team for saying, this guy, if you're the Steelers and you were sitting there at 25 and this guy blew you off in the interview because he thought he was going to go in the top 10. Now you're there at 25. You're like, no, we couldn't do no proper evaluation on the guy because he kind of blew us off because he thought we were too late for him. Okay? Now the guy that came in and was professional and actually did a regular, respectful interview with us, we're going to go with him. We tried to work with you. You didn't want to work with us. Remember, we were too late in the draft for you. So now deal with it. Now you want one of those spots that you were too arrogant and proud to entertain 2 weeks ago. Dion saying that they not going to go with certain teams we not going to go to and this, that, and the third. Okay. Guess who was on that list of teams they might not go to? The Browns. If you're not picked early, you're dealing with a headache. They're not going to bring one. Shadeur Sanders is in a very, very difficult situation. There were very few teams that I knew when I was watching that draft needed a quarterback. Right? You had to. I mean, you can make the argument the Titans didn't really need a quarterback, but because they still had, I think, Will Levis. So I think you can make the argument they didn't really need a quarterback. They drafted one. The Steelers are talking to Aaron Rodgers, so it's a good chance they're going to end up with Aaron Rodgers. So why would they draft you unless you're talking about the future? But as I said, if they didn't like you as an interview person, why wouldn't they spend their money on something they feel going to help them immediately rather than drafting a quarterback that's going to sit? Okay, so now you got that problem if you're the Steelers. If you are the New York Giants, are you going to bring in that guy? Are you going to bring in that guy who, if you bring in, him, the expectation is going to go way up. They're going to expect you to do really, really well. Are you going to bring in Jackson Dart, who everybody thinks sucks? And if he doesn't do well, they're going to blame Jackson Dart. They might blame you, but they're more likely to blame Jackson Dart and say he sucked and he should have been drafted that high than you're a terrible GM. So the focus will be mostly on him outdoing Shadeur Sanders over you truly evaluating why you picked him to begin with. So to me, it just makes more sense. Shadeur is not no slam dunk as no prospect. He's a good quarterback. He's a good, solid quarterback, and he has the mind to be a really good quarterback. But that's a gamble. He is not Lamar Jackson. He is not Cam Newton. He is not any of these guys. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He is not these guys who can take off for 20 yards, or in that sense. He's not Russell Wilson, who's going to drop and be able to use his legs while he's figuring things out. Shadeur Sanders is going to have to stand in that pocket. He's got to take a beating. He's going to have to learn the game the hard way, and that might be something that most people don't want to deal with. So this idea that Shadeur Sanders was treated super unfairly, I don't think it was super unfairly. Do I feel like race has something to do with it? Probably. On a baser level, yes. I think that maybe they looked at it and said, hey, instead of us sitting around here and worrying about dealing with this kid who seems like he's going to be a headache, we might as well just go ahead and play this game our way and deal with consequences in that regard. Because why in the world would I go through all that headache when I could just draft the guy who's going to be half the headache, and in the end I might end up with the same product, a bust. So I'm not saying that like I said before that he should have drew it to the 5th round. No, he should have been nowhere near the 5th round. He should have at the latest been a late 1st round. He shouldn't have been that late. And if he was white, I don't think he would ever dropped to that late in the draft. When Johnny Manziel can come in and go in the 1st round, Baker Mayfield, both of them are undersized. Neither one of them were as good pocket passes as Shadeur is. Neither one of them is smart, where as smart as he was pre-snap. Neither one of them had his pocket presence, his pocket mobility. None of them could play, and neither one of them had his side. So I think Shadeur I think he ran into the wrong. I think he got some bad advice working with his dad. I think his dad put him in a position of arrogance, talked to him, and told him his crap didn't stink, and told him to act like he acted because people expected to see his dad and the same swag his dad brought. And in the end, that's not what happened. Prime could do that because Prime was a one in the light. I mean, there wasn't a Prime before Prime. There was a Prime after Prime. Prime is a special case. He could act that way because people didn't really care, and he didn't play quarterback. So I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that race is a small part of why he did that way. I think it was mostly his personality. And everybody coming out of the woodwork are the same usual suspects that are dumb when it comes to actual situations and love to throw the race thing around when it comes to dumb situations. I mean, it don't make no sense. We've seen them draft cocky black quarterbacks constantly. This is all the time. You got to admit that this man is uniquely arrogant. He was uniquely arrogant. So if you want to believe that this guy was this terrible, that this guy was this amazing prospect, that's fine. He was a good prospect. But don't say that he didn't get drafted because they were intimidated by confident black men. As if 90% of the guys who got drafted in the draft weren't confident black men. That doesn't make no sense. It's okay to admit that he might have been a bad arrogant. And because it wasn't, okay, if you're like that, some people might pass on. You're not dropping to the 5th round, because every time they look at you, they're going to be like, hey, this is a value to get him in the 2nd round. He's projecting the top 5. His tape says top 5. So why in the world would somebody, there had to be something that happened in that thing, in that draft interview, that is different than what happened with Cam Newton, is different than what happened with any of these other quarterbacks that were arrogant and confident. Lamar Jackson dropped, they say dropped, but he got drafted at 32. He got drafted in the 5th round. Geno Smith was arrogant. He got dropped to the 2nd. First day of the 2nd round. I mean, the first couple picks of the 2nd round. He dropped, but he didn't drop. It wasn't like this. Drafting him in the 5th round, something else had to happen. And I think it's a lazy thing to say that they're doing. You just make all your arguments seem stupid after that. Now people, and whenever you have a good case of this situation, now people gonna look at you sideways because you putting this on that when there's other factors. Then they're trying to put us in our place. No, they're not. They drafted, there's like 1,000 other dudes that got drafted. Hundreds of other black men that got drafted who were confident. This is not a black or white thing per se. Was the fall worsened by the fact that he was black? Probably. But it was not the reason why he was treated that way. The reason why he was treated that way is because he was extremely arrogant. He's always been extremely arrogant. Go listen to that NFL interview. I'm sorry, that's just what it was. You got what you got. And I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that he was black, as much as it had to do with he was Shadeur. And he tried to act like he was Dion. And Dion can do that. You can't. Anyways, I might be wrong. Let me know. Give me some information on some stuff I may not know. And comment if you can, let me know. And subscribe if you're not subscribed, and like, and if you're not subscribed, what you doing? All right, y'all. Peace.